Happy morning, children. We are learning chapter 2 classical genetics. Before starting today's session, let us recall what we have learned in our previous session. In our previous session, we have completed about the Mendelism, terminologies related to Mendelism, and Mendel's theory of inheritance. Our introduction has been completed. Here is the diagrammatic representation of the test cross. In the previous session, we have learned that three different crosses has been made by Mendel. That is back cross, test cross, and reciprocal cross. Here is the diagrammatic representation of the test cross. So test cross has been done to know the unknown genotype. So this is the known genotype, which is the dominant one. So when it is made cross with the unknown genotype, so the phenotype will show what is the genotype is. So this is how the test cross has been made. So the crosses has been made by Mendel in this methodology. The hybridization has been done by Mendel by emasculating the male part and doing the artificial fertilization. That is, transfer of pollen has been done. So he has cut and collected the anthers, and the stigma will be there. So he will collect the anther of some other plant and pasted that pollen grains in the stigma of the some other plant. So this is how artificial pollination has been done by Mendel, and that is how the hybridization has been done. In today's session, let us learn about the different experiments made by the Mendel. The first one is the monohybrid cross. That is the inheritance of a single gene. When a single gene have control over a single trait, that is termed as inheritance of single gene. So here, for studying inheritance of a single gene, that is a monohybrid cross, he has taken two different plants. So the phenotype he has taken is a tall and dwarf plant. So the parental tall plant and dwarf plant has made into a cross, and the F1 progeny has been produced. See, all the progenies in the first generation was the tall plant. So when a tall plants, the first generation has been crossed, self-crossed within that first generation. The second generation has been produced a single dwarf plant. Other three are tall. So here he is saying that this 3:1 is the phenotypic ratio. 3:1 ratio is termed as Mendelian ratio. So here is the Punnett square, the probability how he has made the possibilities for making a cross. So in the parent generation he has taken a tall plant and a dwarf plant. So the tall plant will have a dominant gene, that is double capital T, representation of a dominant gene, that is the allele. And here we have a recessive allele represented in a lower case, that is smaller t. So in F1 generation, if these two has been crossed, means these are the probability has been made. So the cross multiplication of these two has got different combinations of the capital T and small t. So when it is self crossed in F2 generation, these are the possibilities. So when the double small t has come, it represents the both the genes are recessive, which is responsible for the dwarf plant. So this is how they have got the genotype ratio as here 1 is to 2 is to 1, that is one tall plant, both dominant allele will be there, and 2 will be the heterozygous one, that is one capital T and one small t, that is heterozygous one, and the 1 is for the recessive allele, that is both the small t one. So this is how he has got the genotypic ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 1. But whereas if you see the phenotypic ratio, that is 3 is to 1. So three plants were tall and only one plant was dwarf. When the combination of tall and dwarf gene also produced tall plant, because the tall allele is the dominant allele and dwarf allele is the recessive allele. So at last the dominant one only will be expressed. So here if heterozygous tall test cross has been made. So these two are the heterozygous one. So one is the dominant allele from the tall plant and another one is the recessive allele from the dwarf plant. So capital T and small t. So this is how the test cross has been made with the, this was the unknown genotype, the combination of dominant and recessive, and this has both the recessive one, that is small t. So this is the known genome type. So when the genotype ratio comes, here it has 1 is to 1 ratio. So when the one of the dominant allele is present, the dominant allele will be expressed. If both are recessive, the recessive allele will be expressed. So in phenotypes, we will get, phenotype is the expression of the genotype. That is what is the result we get. So that is a tall plant we will get and the dwarf plant. So this is the phenotypic ratio 1 is to 1 he got in the test cross. So this is the Punnett square which has the probability of forming the progenies. So this is how the test cross has been done in the homozygous tall grass. So in this we have both the dominant recessive, and here we have the dominant alleles, and here we have the recessive alleles. So in this, the combination of dominant and recessive allele will be the offspring. That is, in F1 generation, the combination of dominant gene and recessive gene will be produced. So the phenotypes will be all tall plant because dominant allele is present in both the things. So tall plant will be produced. Here is the Punnett square which shows the probability of forming progenies. So here we have a molecular reason behind these tall and dwarf plants. So in the gene, it is the LE gene which is responsible for the plant height. So this is the dominant allele and this is the recessive allele. So here we have a gibberellin, which is the growth hormone present in the plants. So this is the precursor for gibberellin molecule will become into active gibberellin, and this gibberellin molecule will not be produced when the allele is gene is recessive. So when this gene is active, this gibberellin will get activated, so the plant will grow taller. When this particular enzyme or responsible for this transfer or getting activated, this gibberellin is not present in the gene, so the gibberellin will not be produced, which is the growth hormone. So in the absence of growth hormone, the plant will not grow taller, so the plant will be a dwarf plant. This is the molecular reasoning behind the tall and dwarf plant. So this is the GA1 enzyme. The allele codes for the GA1 enzyme. So when these allele is dominant, it will produce the particular enzyme. So the gibberellin will get activated and the plant will be taller. So when the gene is recessive, this particular enzyme will not be produced. So the gibberellin will not get activated. So the plant will be the dwarf plant. Moving on to the dihybrid cross, that is inheritance of two genes, when two genes and two different characteristics has been taken for the studies. Mendel has taken two different phenotypes, that is two different expressions in a plant for his dihybrid cross. So he has taken a round yellow color piece and a wrinkled green color piece. So this is the parental generation and he has made cross. So for round, gene has been represented as double capital R. For yellow it is mentioned as double capital Y. So the opposite of this recessive will be the smaller one. That is, in the lower case it will be expressed. For wrinkled it is expressed as small r, and for green color it is expressed as small y. So when we make cross between these two genes, so the progenies, that is the gamete formation, will produce the combination of r and y. So the gamete will have one r allele and one y allele. So whereas here we have a small r and small y. So here we have a first generation which will produce the dominant allele. So this is capital is present means it is a dominant allele. It will produce the round yellow color piece. So in the F2 generation, here is the Punnett square which shows the probabilities of producing F2 generation progenies. So here we will cross multiply all the possible gametes. Here are the gametes production. So here in this angle we will cross multiply the gametes. So here is we have the different probabilities, the combinations of genes. That is, here we have all dominant genes, that is round yellow. Here we have a combination of a new variety of has been produced, that is the round in yellow. Instead of that, it has been produced wrinkled yellow. Here it is the round yellow, it is the normal parental type. So here is a non-parental type, which is a wrinkled yellow has been formed. And here we have a non-parental type, that is instead of wrinkled green, it has produced round green. And here we have a parental combination, that is a wrinkled green color. So this is how he has made. So if we count this, we will get a 9 parental type, that is 9 is 2, and 3 non-parental, again 3 non-parental, and again 1 parental combination. So the ratio will be 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. So this is how the ratio has been found in the dihybrid cross. So here we have a homozygous combination of this dihybrid cross. So this is the representation. Here we have a round seeds and yellow cotyledon. This is how the gametes will be produced. These gametes only had made cross in this Punnett square. In this Punnett square, we have made cross, multiplied the gametes. So this gamete formation has been found by using this. So this is the parental combination in the F1 generation. So when this F1 generation has been hybridized, that is cross selfed, so you will get the gametes in F2 generation, that 9 is to 3 is to 1 ratio we will get. So here is the genetic expression of the where this R and Y allele is present in the chromosome. That diagrammatic explanation has been given. This is the R allele present, which is represented in red color, and this is the Y allele, which is represented in a green color. So here we have a recessive allele which is present in the chromosomes. So this is the same diagrammatic representation which shows the chromosomes and allele where it is present. So here is the representation of the dihybrid test cross. In monohybrid we have learned how the test cross has been made, and here the test cross has been made between the unknown gametes. The unknown genotypes has been taken for the test cross, and the test cross has been made, and the results were 25% for the all the combinations has been produced. So here we have a molecular genetic explanation for the round yellow and green wrinkled piece. So how these round and wrinkled character has been inherited from the gene. So we have a dominant allele double R, which has the ability to produce the active enzyme, that is SBE1. This is the active enzyme. So in this active enzyme will convert the linear unbranched starch amylose into the branch amylopectin. So this branched starch will give the round shape to the piece. So when this branch is not there, that is if it is the unbranched one, it will not form a smooth round shape, so the piece will be wrinkled. So the defect will be in this particular enzyme, that is SBE1 enzyme will not be activated if the allele is recessive. If the allele is recessive, this particular enzyme will not get activated. So the result will be the wrinkled piece. This is the genetic or molecular level explanation for the round and wrinkled piece. Moving on to the trihybrid cross, that is he has taken a 3 different characteristics for his studies. So he has taken a tall, yellow and round pea plant, and the contrasting character of these 3 characters, that is instead of tall he has taken dwarf, yellow he has taken green, instead of round he has taken wrinkled. So these 3 are the opposite, the contrasting characters has been taken, and these two parents as hybridized. So here is the representation given in the capital letters, that is the dominant one, and this is the recessive one. So in the F1 generation we will get only the dominant parents expressed. So when this F1 is self crossed and the F2 generation will be produced, in F2 generation we will get these many types, that is 27 parental combination and one parental combination, and instead these are the non-parental combinations we will get in the trihybrid cross. This was the three different experiments done by Mendel. So based on all these studies, he has proposed two different laws. Those laws are termed as the laws of inheritance. The first law is the law of dominance. In law of dominance is explaining that the dominant allele will be expressed. If we have a combination of dominant and recessive also, only dominant allele is present means that particular character will be expressed. So he is explaining the proportion of 3 is to 1 in the F2 generation. So this 3 is to 1 ratio is termed as the Mendelian ratio. So the second law is explaining about the segregation, that is law of segregation or law of purity of gamete. Both are the same. So this law explains that the two different alleles will not blend together. So all these characters will expressed individually. So the gametes cannot be the hybrid one. The gametes cannot be the hybrid one. Only the expression of the genes can be hybrid. So the genetic level, no hybridization takes place. Both the genes are present. So he is explaining that the alleles do not show any blending. Alleles will not blend together, and the gametes will not, or the gametes will never be the hybrid. That is what he is explaining in the law of segregation. So let us recap what we have learned in today's session. So we have learned about the monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross and trihybrid cross and laws of inheritance, which was proposed by Mendel. So today your assignment is you have to differentiate the test cross and back cross, homozygous and heterozygous. Catch you in the next session, children. Thank you.